Well, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for this evening of poetry and launching the LGBT History Month, which we're really proud to be part of. My name's Lydia Saul from the Higgins Bedford, and yeah, it's a very different LGBT History Month this year. I'm really pleased to have Trudy, who will be giving a lovely summary of her poems for around how it was, how it is, and yeah, is just going to be giving us a wonderful talk through some things, and also all the wonderful open mic poets that have offered to share some of their poems with us. So thank you very much. Just wanted to say thank you to Schools Out UK, who run the LGBT History Month every year and do so much work. This is our 6th year connected with them, and our 5th Out in the Past Festival coming up later in the month. So really happy about that. And also just to mention the badges. First Schools Out UK. if you want an LGBT History Month badge, go to the Schools Out UK website, LGBT History Month website, and you can find one there. And the theme this year is body, mind, and spirit, which is what some of our poems are going to be covering today. So without further ado, I think I will move on to introducing Trudy. And it's wonderful to have you here, Trudy. You are. It's just, I know you have travelled the world, you have, given these poems in many different settings, but now here to people of Bedford, but also across the world, probably again, here we are. So thank you very much for doing our lockdown LGBT History Month launch event.
Thank you for inviting me. It's absolutely great to be here. And of course, here we are, we're in our living rooms, we can all relax. So just to suggest that everyone just gets a glass of wine or cup of tea and just chill out. You can even be naked, no one can see you, so we can all relax. It's going to be a really great evening. And with no further ado, I'll go on to the first part of the show, which is an LGBT life, how it was, how it is. And it's about my personal experience, but I'm sure that it will resonate with lots of people out there. And really it shows that poetry not only reaches right into your heart and into your subconscious, but that poetry can also be used as a catalyst for social and political change. So let's kick off with, I was born in 1954 in a very small mill town in the north of England. And believe me when I say that there was no gay people there at all. I never met a gay person in the whole of my life there. So this is a poem that I wrote about my personal coming out experience. As we know, coming out is something that we all have to do quite regularly when we move home, when we start a new job. So this one is about my first one. It's called Coming Out Kiss. It was that kiss that did it. Blew away my misconceptions about lads, about fancying, that is, about wanting to be their girlfriend. Tracy was trouble with a capital T. Tall, tempestuous, a truant and a tease. She cut a sway through all the boys, discarded them like broken toys. I was 12, she was 16, and a walking, talking, living dream. I was bored with secondary school. I preferred dancing and playing the fool. On that day, she noticed me, said she'd teach me how to be a femme fatale like she was. The first lesson was kissing, and I never looked back. Thank you. Oh, I can feel the love. That feels great. So now we're going to move on, and yeah, things were pretty grim up in Lancashire, even though in 1967 it became legal to be gay. No, definitely not in Lancashire. I mean, really, I didn't know what I was going to do, but then The goddess stepped in and I was offered a full bursary to move down to London and to study art, drama, and dancing. So I came down to London and I met lots of boys and girls who, just like me, had moved to London. And this is a poem that I wrote about it. And I dedicate this poem to Gay Switchboard, which was a great help to all of us when we first moved to the city. It's called The Way We Were. Newly arrived in London, seeking fame, fortune, friendship, and the kind of sex we couldn't find in our small towns and villages. We were ravenous, wanted to grab life by the throat or fall in and be overwhelmed by it, grow into ourselves. We were gagging for it, brimming with fear and excitement, impatient for a brand new life of our own making. We took courses, loitered in pubs, clubs, and places, hoping to meet a bona fide homosexual or become one. We marched together on streets paved with hope and wonder, held hands at Greenham, shouted, made love as much as possible. The way we were, we thought would never change or end. Now, the way we are today will tomorrow's history amend. Thank you. So yes, loved being in London. And London was very lively during the 70s. It was the start of the first gay pride in Highbury Fields in 1972. I was involved with Rock Against Racism, Campaign for Homosexuality. Women's liberation movement, of course, hit England during that period. I loved all the excitement and I was able to develop A, as an artist, B, as a political activist, which are my two heartfelt things. And 3, have to mention it, hit the clubs. Because the clubs, hanging out with people like me was just so fabulous. So here's a poem I wrote about living in a city. It's called Queeropolis. We are the heart of this fair city, forming its breadth and length. We sprinkle it with fairy dust, empower it with our strength. Welcome to Funopolis. Every type of us lives here. This city is great if you're a queer. The range and span of woman and man living without fear. Welcome to Diversopolis. From the bottom to the top, kinky, winky, romantic or not, as big as imagination. Our lives are truly hot. Welcome to Sexopolis. So tonight, it's party time. A chance to flirt and dance. Cast off the old, begin the new. Salutations to love and romance. Welcome to Queeropolis. And yes, I hit the clubs. Every club. Heaven, Bang, Shagoramas, the Gateways, the Black Cap. Absolutely loved it, dancing with all our friends. But then, at the beginning of the 80s, things started to change. People started to get sick. People vanished, went back home to their parents. It was the AIDS epidemic, and it devastated our community. It was very scary, really very frightening time. So this is a poem that I've written how it was during that period, actually living through it and supporting our friends. It's called AIDS. The name strikes dread into our hearts. We know what its impact can be. We've seen the worst and best of it, its devastation in our community. In the hedonistic excess of the 80s, we saw our playmates falter and fall. Their fluids turned into Hades' river, some swept away, some not at all. The randomness of the infection, the suspicion, ignorance, and fear, our family, friends, and lovers blamed just because they were queer. Investment in medical research stopped this killer in its tracks. The afflicted now can live a life improved by treatment and facts. We honor our brothers and sisters who didn't survive that fight. We salute and support the survivors whose life turned out all right. Let us celebrate our lives today and those whose lives are past. Embrace our loving community. May it prosper, flourish, and last. Thank you. Yes, it was a grim period, but you know what? It made us realize we really had to stick together. And lots of people started clinging to each other and supporting each other, and lots of organizations sprang up. The Terence Higgins Trust, Icebreakers, Stonewall, Sappho. So that was a good thing. And those political organizations were the very organizations that made huge changes during that period. We challenged Clause 28. If that had remained, then educationally, lots of gay people's lives would have been ruined for generations. So now I'm going to read you a poem that I wrote and I use when I'm working with young people. It's targeted at the sort of 10 to 13-year-olds. And it's called #Shout Out. Stereotypes are boring. Stereotypes feel tight. What's the point of squashing into something that doesn't feel right? It's okay to be different. It's okay to be queer. We're all the same just under our skin. We deserve to live without fear. Bullies are pathetic. Bullies are uncool. If they think hate can make it right, they really are the fool. Just relax and be yourself. Don't worry what people say. Be the person you want to be. Non-binary, straight, trans, bi, or gay. Thank you. So there was lots of very exciting things happening during all that period. I was working as an actress also, so I was doing lots of political agitprop, working with Gay Sweatshop, as well as doing mainstream. I did Coronation Street and quite a few telly things, but I was sort of wandering around a bit, really. And then in 2012 at the London Olympics, I was invited to write a poem about it. You can imagine that really raised my professional profile, and it really made me think what I wanted to do with my life. And I realized what I wanted to do was support the LGBT community, who I love, and also who is a treasure trove of inspiration. So I started trying to build up an LGBT poetry club scene. I ran residences in the West End. I went round to clubs, rounding people up, because I really believe that we have something to say, something that's inspirational and challenging and all that stuff. And in 2016, I was appointed LGBT Poet Laureate, which was a great honor and also a responsibility, because it meant that I was officially a servant of our community. So I do try very hard to be that thing for us all. And I do also absolutely love it. So in 2016, I wrote a poem that was actually on network TV. It was the first LGBT poem ever on network TV. And I wrote it for what was called then Ida Hop Day. Now it's called Ida Hobbit Day. So this is it. I'm your brother and sister. I'm both Mrs. and Mr. I'm lesbian, gay, trans, queer. I am myself. I'm your father and mother, uncle, auntie, friend and lover. I'm different and the same. I'm your family. I'm black, white, pink, every hue, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Jew, skinhead, goth, punk, new romantic. I am me. I am you. I'm your nurse, your teacher, the boy and girl next door, someone in the street. I am your neighbor. I'm no better or worse, no richer, poorer, blessed or cursed, just part of the same gravitational wave as you are. Thank you. So being LGBT Poet Laureate has given me a lot of access to organizations and to the people who make the laws, who work in housing, who can really change the lives of our community for the better. And of course, poetry is very accessible for everyone, rather than sort of 40 pages of text. So I've worked for Stonewall, Amnesty, Peter Tatchell Foundation, ELOP, the NHS. I launched their Rainbow Lanyard, and of course, lots of prides, London Prides, UK Prides. But I'm particularly fond, for the last few years, 4 years, I've been writing the theme poem for National Hate Crime Awareness Day, which is in October. And so this is the poem that launches, it launched the last event, and it's obviously a different poem every year. It's called Hatred Hurts Us All. Let us stand together, united in this call. There is no place for hatred, because hatred hurts us all. Whatever your ability or gender, religion, age, color of skin, this battle against hatred is one we have to win. Let's educate the ignorant, dispel prejudice and fear, promote that love is a human right, be open and be clear. We can make a difference by what we do and say. About the intolerance and injustice some people suffer every day. It's okay to be different. Let's honor who we are. Make our world a safer place for all of us, near and far. Thank you. Oh, I can feel the love. Yes, I'm sending it back. Yes, I think that's the most important thing, really. Just getting out love and understanding and tolerance and acceptance, and us sharing with each other our fears and our hopes. And poetry is a really good way to do that. As I said, I've done lots of gay prides, and it's just been fabulous. I love going around the country doing gay prides and staying in different parts and writing the theme poem and doing the research. I do lots of commission work, and I do love writing specific poems for specific events, as well as just writing. So this is a poem I wrote for the theme poem for one of the London prides. It's called Love Happens Here. And actually, I'd like to dedicate that to everyone who's here this evening, because that's what it's about. So love is definitely happening. Love happens here, in family, LGBT, in our relationships far and near. It's the heart of us and we. Love can be enough, in sunshine or in showers. When the going gets tough, it's love that inspires. Love is our diversity. It's the best that we can be. It's the talent and creativity within our community. Love is you and me. We show it in a smile, in our endeavor and tenacity. in our fabulosa style. Thank you. And now we all sitting comfortably and relaxed. Are we in our pajamas? Or do we just stay in our pajamas all day? Or have we put them on specially for this evening? I think now, Lydia, are we ready to move into the next part of our fabulous entertaining evening, which is open mic?
Yes, we had a couple of questions, and I just wondered whether, as they were relevant to things you were talking about, Trudy, if you wanted to just answer just a couple of comments. Dino had mentioned he wanted to ask about the reactions to the current TV AIDS drama, It's a Sin, and I just wondered if you wanted to give your own reaction to that.
I loved it. I love Russell T. Davies. I think he's done some brilliant stuff. What I think was unfortunate is that it should have been 8 episodes, but only I think 4 or 5 were made. And what was cut out actually was the role that lesbians had within the AIDS epidemic. You know, the lesbians who were doctors, nurses, friends, how we supported, well, our boys, our brothers. So that would be my only reservation, but obviously you can't fit in every single thing. But that is one of the things that I've been tweeting about it, and just saying, actually in my tweets saying, so come on guys, support, we need your support. And what's been absolutely fabulous is that so many men have responded, you know, saying, yes, we're with you. And it's really very heartening. It's not like the old days, you know, it's early 70s when it was almost like a battle between men and women. Now, yeah, I think everyone's appreciating just how great it is when we share responsibilities and have equal opportunities. So yeah, that's my response to that. I'm going to see what else anyone's saying. Dina, it sounds like you really love London and it's a queer scene and found a great community there. What do you think is the future of queer clubs and bars when COVID restrictions are lifted? Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, well, it's a worry, isn't it? Another hat I have is I'm the co-chair of Westminster LGBT Forum. So if you check out our website and do join us, and we're really campaigning for new things to be happening. And at the moment, the bars are struggling financially. I mean, they're still having to pay their rent. So we're trying to work with the landlords and get a cheaper rent for those people. But I think that people, once they get confidence, will be desperate to get back. Come on, we all want to be hanging out with our friends, and hopefully everyone will be vaccinated and regain confidence. And we will be able to go back to the clubs. And hopefully, after this terrible plague, I think people are really appreciating how important it is to be kind to each other, to be nice to each other, and to enjoy that human comradeship. So, yeah, that's my answer. Are there any other questions? Go on, ask me a question.
I think there was one from Ian. Are social media platforms working hard enough to support and empower LGBTQ plus people?
Well, do you know what the problem is? It's not about the LGBT platforms. It's about the actual platforms. I mean, to be frank, I'm a technophobe. So I find, you know, doing typing or anything like that, or even my girlfriend's helping me here, and she's so techie. She's got her own web streaming show, but she, you know, I'm not one of those people. And I think a lot of older people find it very scary and hard. So I think having lots of being open about how to use the equipment and the internet would be more useful. But I do think we need to monitor some of these dating apps, you know, because anyone can say anything. And there's been, you know, cases where people have been, you know, murdered, serial killers have picked people up online. You know, it's risky and dangerous. And, you know, I think that we need to encourage people to have the real thing face to face and flirt. Yes, Flirt. It's a dying art. I think we need to have lessons how to flirt.
Thank you, Trudy. I just wonder, I forgot to do something at the beginning. So would you be very kind, and we've had a few more people arrive since then. Could I do my poll, which I was going to do at the start and I completely forgot.
Go ahead, Lydia. Lydia's done sterling work and had to put up with me and all my various friends ringing up. Who've been a trial and a torment, but you've done really well, Lydia. So you do your poll, darling.
Thank you. I was just interested to know the people that are here, how they found out about us. So I'm going to launch the poll. So just tick the box and then I'll share the results, which would be quite interesting just to have a little look at to see where everyone's from and what they're up to. So yeah, go for it. I'm going to leave it up for a few minutes so that, well, just for a minute. So you're going to have to get in there and click on things if you want to take part. So there's 2 questions on there. How did you learn about the event? Tell us how you found out about us. We would really love to know. And why have you joined us for the event? So, and that I'm quite interested to see. Okay, I'm just going to give it a few more seconds because I can see some people, maybe everyone's answered that wants to, but I think people are still answering. So for those that just need a little bit more time to think about, think about it, or just get used to the tech, because I know the tech's a bit of a struggle sometimes. Thank you so much for being here. So, okay, I'm going to end the poll, guys. So ending now. Okay.
Are we ready, Lydia?
And I can share the results with you guys. So that was the results. So thank you. Looks like lots of you found out by word of mouth. So thank you very much for sharing, and through social media. So it just shows the benefits of social media platforms. And yes, okay, I get your message that you really want to see the poets. So we'll be going to that very soon, and also to listen to Trudy, who has been fantastic so far. So thank you very much. That's lovely. Thank you so much for doing that. Great.
So here we have it. We're now going to move into open mic. I hope you've topped up your wine or your tea or whatever you're drinking, because we've got a fantastic and star-studded lineup. And the thing about it is that now it's your chance. If you have a poem in your heart, and I believe we all do have one, then here's your chance to have a go, because we all really want to hear it. And the first person we're having on tonight is someone who, yes, a first timer, and we just want to send the love out to them. We're really looking forward to hearing this. So Mack, take it away.
Thank you, Trudy. It's wonderful to meet you. You're fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Mack Mclean. I live in Bedford with my partner, Pat. We work with the local mental health services as people with lived experience, trying to improve services for LGBTQ plus people. Our steering group campaign is called Rainbow Bedfordshire. I think there's a hashtag in front of that. I first started writing poetry 3 years ago after attending a creative writing course at the Recovery College. The poem I'd like to share with you tonight is called Photographic Memories. I'll just have a sip. I found a photo of a girl alone on a garden swing, just sitting, clad awkwardly in a gingham dress with a dead straight fringe. Not a posed portrait. She was quite unaware, with wistful eyes, too sad to cry. That mind belongs to the lad with scuffed knees who rides a red rally bike, the racing type, with a crossbar and brakes that stop just right. There's a photo of a woman, inauthentic, in a lineup, wishing to be anywhere but there. perhaps on a cliff top or under a train. Bone thin, reality lost beneath her skin, that canvas of pain. Was it a photographer or a firing squad taking that shot? The choking neckline of the top too tight, hands clasped with all their might, hidden from view. In this holiday snap, the guy has sun-warmed eyes. His eyes propagating, I'll start again. The guy has sun-warmed ears. His eyes propagating laughter lines, gazing seaward across a south coast cove. A profile shot. He pretends not to spot the keen lens. A captured half smile belies his bliss, while just inside his favorite camera jacket, against his chest, his t-shirt is smooth and flat. Thank you, Trudy. I'm glad I can see someone clapping. And
oh, see my hands. That was just great, Mac. And actually, you know, that poem about the photo, the snapshot, it indicates just how important our history is. You know, we don't want to be invisible. We don't want to just vanish. All our lives are important, all our histories. And the fact that you see a photograph and someone's history comes to life, and also in your poem, also people's history came to life. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Trudy.
Now we're going to move on to the next poet. And this is coming in from Greece. And this is one of my work colleagues. His name is Dino Mahoney, and actually you'll be able to see his website and details. I'm sure you'll be going to be wanting to listen to more of his poetry when you've heard him. So are you there, Dino? Oh, it's the airwaves. Lydia, have we got Dino?
Yeah.
Oh, hello, darling.
Hello.
Hey.
Great to see you. Lovely to be with everybody. Hello, Bedford.
How's Greece?
It's very nice. I don't want to make anybody jealous, but we had a very sunny day today, and I'm sitting on the balcony.
He knows Greek and Irish. Take it away, darling. We're dying to hear.
Thank you so much, Trudy. Well, the poem I'm going to read and share with you tonight is called Earl's Court Triptych, and it's a real slice of gay history. In the 70s, the 1970s and 80s, Earl's Court was one of the main gay hotspots of London. And this poem celebrates a trio of Earl's Court gay meeting places: a cemetery, a leather bar, and a disco. And we start with the cemetery. It's called Garden of Love. Sun shines bright over Brompton Cemetery, beats down on marble angels, chalky headstones, on admiral, statesman, boxer, living men in Brando singlets, sawn-off jeans, on butcher, banker, chicken, bear, coloured hankies spilling from back pockets, flagging oral, anal, S&M. Legs spread, they sprawl on benches, loiter outside catacombs, troll the colonnades for passing trade, looking for alfresco action. And now we leave the cemetery and we move on to the leather bar, the Coleherne. Leather jackets, caps, chaps framing bulging baskets, tight jeans, bubble butts, macho clones line up along the bar, checking out the action. In walks Fame, tight white singlet, raven hair, chevron tash, piercing Parsi eyes, killer queen on the hunt for someone to love. In a corner, sipping Bloody Marys, a chunky charmer checks back pocket handkerchiefs for black or grey, hoping to take some bad boy's breath away. Summer heat, they spill onto the street. Plainclothes Sharpies on the spot man on man affection. Move in, march culprits to the station. Closing time, they slip around the back, line up along the lamp-lit meat rack. Cars cruise slowly by, take bikers without bikes for a ride. And now we go round the corner from the Coleherne to the disco, the catacombs. Straight world left at the door, I skip down steep stairs to disco fairyland. ABBA, Donna, Boney M. Lit up, this cave is minuscule. Dim lit is infinite. High on sweat, hormones, amyl, I dance with shirtless queens and oh, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. And oh, I feel love, I feel love, I feel love, I feel love. Thank you.
Oh, love that, Dina. I know all those places, of course. Really, really great. Donna Summers, yes.
Yeah, good old Earl's Court. It's so gay in those days. It's all not anymore.
Then she went all anti-gay and bit the people who actually bought her records, like the gay community. But to move on from that, so now we're going to have the most deliciously charming Alice Denny, who's also, you'll be able to check up her details of her poetry. Once you hear her poetry, you'll want to hear lots more. Are you there, Alice, darling? Is Alice there, Lydia?
She's on her way.
Oh, jump on that plane, Alice. Put your wings on, fly to us. Alice!
You? Oh, right.
Alice,
okay?
Yes.
I said I'd be trouble.
Take it away, darling. We'd love to hear your poem. Oh, she gone again.
Oh.
Alice is like the fairy queen. She flies in, looks rather beautiful and mysterious, and then flies out again. Oh, here she is. She's back.
Right.
Darling.
I need to unmute. We can't hear you, Alice. Can you unmute? There we go. You're back. Sorry, not sure what happened there.
It wasn't me. What did it? I was touching nothing.
We're really loving we just want to hear your poem, darling. Take it away.
Listen, it was so lovely hearing you. In fact, everyone else as well, but it was so lovely and seeing you again. Trudy, you'll get a long way. Anyway, this is a sort of oldish poem which has had 3 titles for various reasons. One is questions, it's obvious. One is normal, and I changed the words slightly, and it's now called Woman, and I think you'll understand why. Am I a woman in your eyes? Am I welcome here? Is this chair free, or must I go elsewhere? May I sit down, please? Share the conversation and a beer? Could you bear to invite me for a visit? Or for a drink? Or do you care far more? What must the neighbours think? Is it you're scared, ashamed to be seen with me? Walking round your city? Would you rather I pretend that I'm not here? Should I simply disappear? Would you defend me or disown me? Would you mind me talking to your kids? Let them be alone with me? Or do you fear I do them harm? Are you alarmed when I come near and cross the street? Would you protect me or shrug and walk away if someone were to beat me? Say, what does she expect when she's dressed that way? Could you accept me as your sister? Refer to me as her, she, miss, never sir, he, mister. Could you respect me? Always use my chosen name? Or is your heart so frozen in malice that rather than call me Alice, you'd like to see me fall apart, bear my soul in shame? Then you could say, there I knew all along, she really is not so brave nor strong as she appears or claims. Just see how she's reduced to tears by such a little honesty. Would you touch me while we speak, as others do? Is it too much to ask you to smile, to look me in the eye, to seek the me inside? Do you abuse me, deride me behind my back, think unkind thoughts, believe there's something lacking, my mind is warped? By rights I ought to be locked up and taught a lesson. Perhaps some psychotropic medication is your preferred solution, or electroshock. Then drugs, strapped to a bed, electrodes placed to my head, I'd be zapped. Therapeutic electrocution. Well, I have news for you. For if you'd bet I'd break down and cry I made a mistake, could someone try to turn back time, feel guilt or blame, let me disabuse you. I am really not afraid and I'm not ashamed, nor have I ever felt one moment of regret. So get this into your head when I say, I refuse to play your spiteful games, and I may let you share this life if you accept me as I am, not with condescension or reservations, but completely. Understand, I am a woman. There can be no compromise. So tell me now, please, am I a woman in your eyes? And
I think that's a resounding yes. And it's so important, Alice, that you say these things, that we are able to express our frustration and our sadness and just bring things like this to light, because yes, the haters, really, what do? Nothing. They're just a waste of space. And thank you so much for that, darling. Really beautiful. Thank you. So our next...
I haven't finished yet. I've got another one, a short one.
Oh, we've got time, so please do.
I sent you to.
Darling, get on with it now, please. Quick.
Okay. Listen, this is for everyone in this awful pandemic. We only get one life, one chance, and you can only try your best. May strive but not believe yourself to be a star as incandescent as the rest. We all must deal with happenstance. We fall, hurt, heal. Nonetheless, none cheats that incessant dance. So in your life, shine love, shine life, to fill cold voids of loneliness. And who can tell what universe traversing peace and joy may come from all the caring, loving beams you have shone? What greedy depths their healing lights may plumb, to feed the needy eyes they ray their welcome rays upon. Then, when your fierce fires of light are done, you'll shine still, a star as bright as any other one.
Ah,
Thank you all. for your nice things.
Thank you, Alice. Lovely. So now we're going to, I'm sorry to rush along, but as everyone knows, we've got lots of poets we're pleased to offer you, and I'm running a tight ship here, who I love being the captainess.
Oh,
It's such fun. So now we're going to move on, and our next open mic poet is Leo Chung. Have we got Leo?
Oh, I'm sorry. I seem to have lost Leo at the moment. Let me.
Well, actually, shall I move on to the next one, and we can always come back to Leo, because I'm sure Leo's poem will be absolutely great. Okay, so Leo, don't worry, darling. We're going to come back to you. So let's move on. Have we got him?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Leo. Hi, Leo.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I just have the worst luck when it comes to Zoom, so. But I'll try to be efficient. So I've got a couple of poems, short ones, and as is the usual case, I'll start with the sad one first and then move on to the happy one, so you know that it's going to be better towards the end. So the first one is called Things You Learn When You're Trans. 1. You learn to get used to not being okay. But lucky you get this lesson every day. From the misgendering, bathrooms, family disapproval, the wrong name, the name calling, the emotional upheaval, the suspicious looks, the accusations of predation, naked and vulnerable while living in a hostile nation. 2. You learn to live with no choice. You're small enough for them to deny you a voice. Want medical care? Either pay or wait. Want the state to care? Protest and wait. Want to feel safe? Be resigned to your fate. You can pray, but there's no God watching for your sake. 3. You learn to stand among men. The right doesn't want you, and the left frames you as anti-woman. Present right or hide. Try to bide your time. The media doesn't care for you, or the 300 plus of your kind murdered last year, and the thousands more before, who tried to be themselves and wanted nothing more. 4. You learn to hope. You must. And the second one, which is a bit more fun, is called Does It Matter? Does it matter, by the by, loving a girl or loving a guy, or both, or neither, or no one at all? Does it matter if I stand tall and say, I like my body this way, that my gender is here to stay? Does it matter how you call yourself, as long as you are more than your wealth and live life as true as can be? Does it matter that love is more than what you see, more than what society says is right, beyond what burns fast and burns bright? What does matter, we all know that, is whether you like dogs or you like cats. The right answer is cats.
Wow.
Answer was cats too. Thank you, Leo.
Yes.
Everyone knows I've got a mad
Yes.
14-year-old called Indy, who's had to be put out of the room because she was doing that honking cough business.
It's
So
terrifying.
She's being banished into the bedroom now. That was great. Thank you, Leo. And it's so great. You know what? We need to get this. This is why we need poetry. We need to be able to express ourselves, all our deepest thoughts, all our lightest thoughts, all our sadnesses and happinesses. So we're now going to move on to our next poet, who's called Cami. Hello, Cami. Are you there?
Unmute, right? Yeah, start. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, hello. Yeah, I'm also a technophobe, mate. Yeah, it's all wonky to me. Right. Ready to go, is it?
We are. Take it away, Cami. We're really waiting to hear your poem.
Lovely. I've got two. Okay. We're 50 years from Stonewall and the ethos has been lost. What started out as protest fell to marketeers to cost. More acceptance lit the dollar signs in parasitic eyes, but we're far from there, my queer siblings. We're still marginalised. Pride should shout defiance and promote togetherness, but our trans and MB friends are made to feel second best.
Mm.
When the alternative to living as you are is suicide and your communities exclude you, how does that not deride?
Mm.
Hang on, because I can't remember the next bloody
Oh,
line.
just read it. Just read it from the page.
Our movement's genesis in Greenwich Village has its roots, with trans people of colour and the pain of bricks and boots. To Marsha, Sylvia, Storm, we owe a debt of gratitude. That brave vanguard who stood with their combative attitude. So don't be fooled by the facade. They're only after the pink pound. Go find or start a local pride, because we're still underground.
Mm.
I did miss out a verse of that, but never mind. This next one's called Transphobia. In a crowd, yet alone, with her face to her phone, she shook with fear. Paralysed by the look that a hateful heart took, that awful sneer. So she sinks to the ground, with her bag strewn around, to disappear. But she's made herself seen, now they're all being mean. Tear follows tear. Collapsed in a heap, can do nothing but weep. No one's friend. Then her shoulder feels hand, and she's lifted to stand, to mar or mend. Then she sees with surprise some benevolent eyes, and she starts to sag. But swiftly those eyes move through mock to despise, and she's called fag. Thank you.
Ah, thank you. That was really, really great. You know, we do have a voice, and one thing about poetry, when you're writing a poem or thinking about a poem, and come on everyone has a poem in their heart, and it can help you work out some really big, deep stuff and important stuff about your life and what you see all around you. So I'd really encourage everyone to write a poem just for themselves. You don't have to show it anyone, and you are creating a living work of art. So now we're going to move on to our next poet, who is Megan.
I was just having a little trouble identifying Megan. I'm just going to allow MC to talk, and just to check it is Megan there.
Is that you, Megan?
Unmute. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah.
Go.
Hold on, let me pick you up as panelist. Oh.
It's really fancy. You can't like see everyone in the screen. You can only see a few people, as in you. Yeah.
But we're all here, and we've got to feel the vibe of love. Just put it out and feel it back in. I can feel lots of love. I can't see a thing.
Start the video. Cool.
Hey,
okay.
hello.
Yeah, hello. All right.
Hello, Megan. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks. Well, it's a long one, so I'll get going. And it's called Coming Out.
Hey.
When coming out, Mum asked about whether I wanted her to tell everyone my sexual orientation. I said no, because she didn't tell everyone my brother fancied women. Besides, I didn't want my privacy broadcasted to the nation. Hey, Meg likes having sex with women, that's worth a conversation. I knew then, long before really, I would be viewed differently. I didn't realise my biggest battle would be me internally, and me breathe most of my self-doubt back down my own mouth. That same doubt that meant being my gay was my inner phobia. I'm not flying that flag, I'll gladly be happy, acknowledged as me. My words turn stones over. Oppositional effects to the adverts from your sofa. First showings of same-sex couple adverts on day TV, fighting over who pays a bill with humour in the irony. Thankfully, my gender stereotype doesn't have to define me. like holding doors, stupid jokes about size matters, noticing only beauty and acting flattered. Embedding her fears of aging, so it's younger women she's hating. Her commenting on masculinity, using words like a manly man's what I need. He feels he's failed, insecurity feeds, reaffirming their stereotypes rebreed. And we can't do conformity. For this, I'm truly happy we complement beyond our beauty. We see a rich picture equal 50-50. I'll try to hang on to that when we can't blend in comfortably. And we drop hands at the same times. I find my words in rhymes at real times. It goes unsaid. We don't hold hands for others. I was reminded by my Meg. I was born in Cornwall. Holding hands can still feel uncomfortable. Different like my imprint is an anomaly, and I get that because I'm different and double glance others like me. Recently, the BBC had a debate about whether it was safe for gay football fans to go to Russia. They didn't utter a word about the planned attacks on gays happening every day. YouTube the song Take Me to Church, it redefines the meaning that love can hurt. Back to the red and white shirt debate, a man said children are really influenced and being gay is cool today. So his gay brother felt it was better in front of his children to hide it all away. So don't tell me that our work is done. Legality and living the reality aren't one. I'm not buying it when I know our society is still intolerant of gender reassignment. Whilst realigning the policy, this pencil pushing corrupt commodity can hide behind paper while stereotypes are reinforced by the media. And a protected characteristic within an Equality Act only provides a crash mat whilst people die because they can't get by. Trapped in the wrong body, how unequal is that? Whilst ironically me, I swing from the same minority tree with thankfulness because I have a wife and legally someone married us. But I'm sure we're still catching up with us. Many put their love and trust in private fertility. A third party joined their party, riding us close to heterosexual conception like that's the best type of feeling or meaning. And I see the strain. The reality we're not the same. That's okay. Finally, I believe in what I say. Brains are complicated. I feel the sweat, tears drip off the hospital ceiling whilst a woman screaming, what's my meaning, whilst successfully not conceiving. Believing that this way will give her life its true meaning. Booked in for round 5 of in vitro fertilization whilst one of the biggest private healthcare earners of our nation. I'm not judging you trust, I'm stuck, I don't know what's best for us. Whilst outside a world of little lives already formed by books constantly seething in attachment issues, boxed in pre-bought tissues. Half of me is thinking the real issues are the theorized views because we all realized that Freud was a fraud. In 15 years, please don't tell me that doctors will be hanging off the same theorized clipboards, putting the same crap in brackets, full circle. These mistakes of our ancestors coming back to haunt us. My only real advice is do it because you feel it. My estrogen's been wasted, but my love has been untainted because if I'm going to normalize into a void of social graces, lives are being wasted, spaces are being crammed, and I'm sick of those most vulnerable being filled up like wastelands. So this mic in hand is my way of explaining what I feel life's faking. The biggest gift is the lift when I see what words can awaken. Self-medicating's, escaping's taking me further from what's real. So hold it there, make checking, because this right here is what you feel. People will always reel the spill when asked or not, and people's interpretations can be wrong a lot. So what I am inside can therefore become a self-divide. I am gay without choosing to identify with gay pride. Choice is key, just didn't feel it identified with me. That's a shielded privacy built on the sacrifices made throughout history. Sadly, still no current globally, attacks on your doorstep in the UK for some locally, so maybe my sexual identity should define and outline how I be. Unify, flying the flag offers to celebrate our face-to-face alternative identities. I hope this note adds more scope to labels and conformity. Since dawn under shell and frog spawn, we've existed simultaneously. We aim to see better accept and ask the question, if you're unsure of language like non-binary, ask for a preferred pronoun for gender, he, she. Ignorance is ignorant if you think you know better than the person next to you that's living the life painted by the words you use. I'll leave you with this well-known phrase, rephrased, think for a mile in their shoes. Words are powerful, think about the ones you choose.
Hey, fantastic.
Thanks.
A fountain, a river of expression. And you know what? what can we do? What's the most powerful thing we can do? It's just be ourselves, be honest, be true to ourselves. And however we are, you know what, it's okay. Whatever way we do it, because I think if you live a life and you're not true to yourself, then actually you're not going to be fulfilling your real potential. And that's, at the end of the day, what we all want to do, isn't it? So now we're going to move on to our next open mic poetry. Gosh, some fantastic poems. And I think we're going to move on now to Sparky. Is Sparky here? Hello.
He's on his way. We're doing very well for time, Trudy, just to let you know. So we can have some Q&A, I think, after...
I just unmuted myself. Hi.
Hi, Sparky.
Hi. Everything's been so brilliant and powerful so far. So thank you to everyone, and thanks, Trudy and Lydia. Right, that's the most heartfelt and sincere I'm going to get this evening. Right, so I'm going to do a couple. I've got my stopwatch with me because I'm a stickler for running out of time. Okay, so I identify as a non-binary person, and first poem I want to do is about society still not really getting the sort of sticking within its comfort zone of binary concepts. And it starts with a Christmas reference, so apologies for that, but then my friend did give me some mince pies earlier, so it's still Christmas in my head. It's called A Lot to Answer For. Well, the festive season's coming and the stock is piling high. Come and get it while it's hot. Mind your fingers, hands and eyes. Yet the stores, they proudly advertise their toys for her or him. Be a princess, be a soldier, make it run and dance and swim. And so brazenly we normalise the pigeonholes they fall and dictate our child's identity regardless of how small. I don't know the solution, but gender has a lot to answer for. And my friends are getting married. The date is looming large as they try to reconcile those overwhelming charges. On the register, her father's name, it looms in black and white. Never mind her mother's input. Never mind she's here tonight. And just how come his parents haven't come with their permission slip? Is he far more capable of doing grown-up stuff? I've changed a word for the Heart FM edit. I don't know the solution, but gender has a lot to answer for. So I'm trawling through the comments of an online broadsheet page, and I'm trying to make sense of all that incandescent rage that some contributors make when a woman shares her views, as though she lacks the capability of engaging with the news. Well, guess what, my friend? These websites are not solely your domain. Try getting out more, which I appreciate we can't do a lot at the moment. Maybe it will curb your world disdain. I don't know the solution, but society, you've much to answer for. Thank you. I'm going to do one more as well. I think it's so valuable hearing people's different experiences, and I was going to use the word sort of like their personal archives, but it's as much about the present as it is about people's histories as well. And I'm saying that, I'm still learning a lot about myself. I think when I was at uni, I started uni just over 16 years ago in Aberystwyth, which is a tiny little bubble in West Wales. And quite fortunately, I think probably my really started going out socially with the LGBT society there. And there was I think kind of, even when I hadn't really fully identified where I fitted in that dynamic or beyond, and even just in the pre-social media era, we were kind of a society still obsessed with labels and stuff, and especially coming from a place where kind of you're either, if you're something like, if you're a goth or a grunger or a skater or whatever, you're sort of seen as different than that. So this poem is really kind of about a tribute to my friends, and allies, and any really anyone that's kind of been supportive for myself and anyone who's kind of trying to sort of find their way. And it's called Seven Sisters. I usually do it as a song, but I'm gonna do it for the first time in spoken. And
we want to hear it.
Yes, and I'm aware of time is getting on, and I've got more mince pies to eat. 7 sisters have I gained through blood, booze, and glitter. Rock, roll, and rallies that'll render us fitter. Not just pretty brains, our faces tell tales of enduring resilience, heartbreak, and betrayals. Some cider talking, Diet Coke and rum. My spreadsheet's my Bible, but I take life as it comes. Your fantasies carry you through the day. At night they come to life, but we're rarely led astray. We take control, because we all want control. The game has been changed, but it won't take its toll. Medical models are redundant relics. We simply can't reconcile your archaic ethics. We make our sense from our flitting semantics. We line up mansplainers, self-righteous pedantics. We shake off authoritarian shackles. We know we're all fighting our own unique battles. We're sex positive, but we maintain safe spaces. We welcome all genders, religions, and races. We digest on Crenshaw, Butler, and Foucault, the Bangles, Scott Walker, torch songs, and two-tone. Our fallible words and our imperfect faces are beauty to us, and we'll never replace them. Thank you.
Thank you. That was absolutely great. And yes, we do need to get it out there. We need to let people know how we feel, and we need to let our community know how we feel also. I think it's how we can engender understanding and tolerance and love. We just need to listen to each other. Listening's a hard skill, we're not taught how to do it at school, but obviously it's the best way to learn.